Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. Now, I need to credit the information I'm going to tell you to Kanaju. Kanaju is a fairly new No Man's Sky YouTuber who's been doing some really good videos, especially about lore, and you know how much I love No Man's Sky lore. Um, Now, he let me know that in Kovax space stations, it's not in every space station, but in Kovax space stations, since the Interceptor update, there is a new option at the space station core. Let's go ahead and check that out, and then I'll explain what it all means. And also, interesting thing on here, on this text right here, it says Atlas Aeron Surveillance Uplink functional. Aerons are sentinels, so there's like an uplink to the Atlas and the Sentinels in these space stations. But anyway, we've had input override code and restore standing, but now we have feed curious circuits. And like I said, this option's only in Corvex space stations, and I think there's a good reason for that. Kanaju gave a reason for it in his recent video about I think it's the 5 biggest mysteries in the Interceptor update. But let's feed 61 Atlantidium. Atlantidium is obtained from corrupted sentinels. Well, it's actually from crystals on corrupted sentinel worlds. But let's select this. All right, and it gives us some binary code. That binary code translates to I see her. And the her that it's referring to, I believe, is the Void Mother. The Void Mother is referred to in other binary code at the wrecked devices that you find on corrupt Sentinel planets. Those devices give binary code that say Void Mother, and then this binary code says I see her. So, like I pointed out, oh my, I can't interact with it anymore. That's interesting. So doing that like prevents you from doing anything else at this space station, unless I just need to leave and come back and it'll be usable again. But so as I said, it said Atlas Aeron interface. So these space stations are loyal to the Atlas and or Sentinels, I guess. And the fact that I was able to use some Atlantidium means that the space station core is telling us that it sees the Void Mother. It sees the Void. And I think the reason that it's at Korvax stations because the Korvax still worship the Atlas and are also friendly with the Sentinels. So I guess that's why. I mean, I get it could happen. They could have added it to any space station, but I guess specifically Korvax space stations are especially loyal to the Atlas. So you're basically reporting the Void Mother to this uplink to the Atlas, and it's telling us I see her. Now, other really important thing that I found out from Kanaju, I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but that big sphere that you see up there, the space station core, that is the big round thing that we find at the camps on corrupt Sentinel planets. So the camps that you go to and you get the new type of multi-tool, there's this big round thing. I always said I thought it was just a piece of a freighter that had broken up, like a Sentinel mothership. Like, since we blew up a Sentinel mothership, maybe that was a piece of the Sentinel mothership that fell down and there was a camp there. But no, those round things are space station cores. And another interesting thing that Kanaju pointed out is that, well, he believes that these space station cores basically protect space stations from the void, because normal space stations like this one and also pirate space stations that have basically taken over their core are free from like corruption from the void, but abandoned space stations don't have a core. And so they've started to grow the weird goo that appears in abandoned buildings. So basically, abandoned space stations are starting to be taken over by the void because the void is connected to the abandoned building goop and biological horrors and abyssal horrors and nanites and corrupted sentinels and all this stuff. But you got to watch Kanaju's new video, the five biggest mysteries in the Interceptor update. I agree with him that it looks like the we're really leading up to some kind of really big storyline here. Hello Games have been, you know, dropping hints in the lore for ages now with the Abyss update and the like derelict freighters and adding space station cores and all the different lore about the Void Mother and the Abyss. And apparently, according to Kanaju, because he found this information in the giant buildings, the giant archive buildings, those buildings, if you read a lot of the lore from the Kovax, they say that the Void or the Void Mother is like the spirit of Kovax Prime. Kovax Prime was destroyed by the Gek, and that has always been in the lore of No Man's Sky. And supposedly that is the Void. Like somehow, even though the planet was destroyed, like the Void still exists, and maybe it exists within nanites. And anytime like abandoned building goop starts to collect, it's because nanites that have the memories of the Void Mother of Kovax Prime are starting to infect biological systems. And same with the corrupted sentinels. The nanites are corrupting the sentinels and turning them into stuff. And well, I'm not going to try to go through all the lore. Like I said, watch Kanaju's videos. He does really good lore stuff. But like I said, it really looks like we are leading up to something. I mean, I've been saying that for a long time, and the problem with No Man's Sky lore is it always seems like it's leading up to something big. But all of these different story strands really do seem like they're coming together. And I hope that we're going to get some kind of big reveal collection thing that ties these things together like this summer. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but we know about the space station, the new space station exteriors, and I really think that's going to tie in with the space station cores and all these different story threads and stuff that I've been talking about. So hopefully this summer we're going to get a really big update that's going to tie all that together, but who knows, maybe they have stuff planned and it's going to take a lot longer for all that stuff to be ready, or they're just going to keep teasing us with lore forever and it's never really going to lead to anything. But let me know what you think. We've finally got something new at the space station cores. We'll see if we ever get to use the space station overrides to do anything. Honestly, I think the space station overrides are just a way to show us how space pirates take over space stations, and it's not really something players will be able to do ever, but who knows. But anyway, that's about it. You can now choose a new option in Kovax Space Station for a little bit of lore having to do with the Void, with the Abyss. So anyway, I've been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything's going to be okay.